What's going on, everybody? It's the Daily Fantasy Hitman back at you with another League of Legends breakdown. We got 2 games out of the LCK and 2 games out of the LPL, so let's get into it. First things first, we got T1 versus Afrika Freaks. This is the third overall game in terms of combined kills per minute times average game time, so don't expect too much here. Early game to mid-late game, T1 seems to be down versus Afrika in the early game, but they picked that up in the mid to late. Now, T1 does have a different roster that they were running. They were running with Teddy. Teddy is the ADC now. Korea. Closer was playing mid lane. Cuz swapped in for a limb, and then they have Kana. So if you're playing DFS, jungle, mid, and ADC are all sketchy, but the good thing about this is we're going to get starting lineups before lock, so don't worry about that as much. But of course, if they lose game one, they could swap. This isn't a game I really love from a DFS perspective, but do what you wish with it. I like T1 here. I don't know if it's a 2-0. I'd say probably 2-1 because Afrika, they have really good players on their team. Keen, Dread, Fly, Bang, Lehens. These are all veterans in the LCK. So please don't just assume that they're going to get stomped here because T1 is like, so far what I've seen from them, I'd say they're fourth best in the LCK. And I would say Afrika is maybe sixth. So it's not going to be an absolute stomp. I'd say 2-1 T1 here. Bit of a couple close games. Now the next matchup, KT Rolster versus Nongshim RedForce. I do not think Nongshim RedForce is very good at all. I think they're one of the worst teams in the LCK. Currently, they're sitting in 8th place, 5-7 game record, 2-3 overall series. I think KT Rolster has looked really good lately. UCal, great in the mid lane. Hybrid has been doing good on Samira, especially. Blank had a great series, and Duran, I think he's really the key to this whole roster. When Duran is pushing heavy in the top lane and joining these team fights, he's insane. And we saw that last series versus DRX. I'm going to give KT Rolster the 2-0 here. I think this is one of the more convincing series despite the odds. So 2-1, 2-1, 2-0 KT Rolster. Let's move over to the LPL. Rare Atom versus Rogue Warriors. Now, this is the one stat that I thought was really interesting. Average game time. Rare Atom is first in the LPL in average game time, right? Ignore the record. They have not played good so far. They're 0-4 right now with Leon. But that first average game time in the LPL, right? You're matching that up with the Rogue Warriors, who are first in combined kills per minute, right? And they're even worse. They're 2-11. This team has not looked good at all. And here's the worst part. They just brought in their backup support as their ADC. So, what's the plan here? Are we running double support bot lane? And then we're going to play through Haro and I don't like it. Haro is the only decent player on this team. And decent in terms of kills, right? Not decent in terms of, he's not going to change the game massively because, he had like 12 kills versus Top Esports, or, not Top Esports. He had like 12 kills in their last series versus, I think it was, who'd they play? I think it was versus JDG. But either way, he's the only win condition for them, right? That's one player. Rare Atom's team is a lot better. You can see here they're better in the early game by about 20. Mid to late is about the same. Burst, though. First in combined kills times average game time. I think this is the game you want to stack. Love Rare Atom here. Think it's going to be a sloppy series, so don't expect anything tactical. Don't expect anything macro-oriented. It's just going to be a lot of fighting. I will give Rare Atom the 2-0 there. Yeah, I'll say Rare Atom 2-0, but probably more like a 2-1 because, Rogue Warriors does have Haro, so say he gets off to a, 4 or 5 kills in the early game, they could win based off just that. But I think iBoy, the fact that they're bringing in a support as the ADC, iBoy's just going to tear that dude to shreds, Sure, he used to play ADC, QQ used to play ADC, but there's a reason he swapped to support. The dude was not getting any playtime. Anyway, let's move on to the last series. TES versus JDG, which people will probably say this is the series of the entire slate, right? But I beg to differ. JDG has not looked good so far. Match history, they beat Rare Atom, they beat BLG, but they lost 2-0 to IG, 0-2 to EDG. And the thing that really scares me is this. Yagao, 49.5% kill participation. This guy's playing Twisted Fate in LeBlanc. How are you not getting any kill participation? It's like this dude's playing scared or something, right? Obviously, he's a professional League of Legends mid laner, so he's not scared. But I think that's maybe he's been getting dominated in the lane. Something's up with the Yao, and that's not something that I want to bet behind. A team that's 2-2, losing to two of the top teams and then beating two of the lower teams, versus a TES squad who's finally getting their feet under them. 2 straight sweeps in a row. Jackie Love has put up 38 kills in those 2 series combined. I mean, look at this. He had 20 kills in a loss to Rogue Warriors. Overall, over the past 7 games, Jackie Love has dropped 58 kills. That's absolutely insane. That's nearly, at some point, that's almost 10 kills per game, right? And who he's facing is Loken. Loken is a great ADC, but the issue for me is these losses. You want to see more in the losses, right? 2, 7, and 3 in that loss to IG. 4, 3, and 10 versus EDG, right? Now he's doing great in the wins, but this is versus BLG, and this is versus Rare Atom, right? What are they going to do versus TES? And here's the last thing I want to mention. JDG and TES have played each other a lot. Look at this. This is a 5-game series in the finals, right? They did the same thing last split. So that's 10 games. And then they played each other twice, once each split. So that's 14 total games. And the thing is, JDG got swept both times in the regular season, and they lost both playoff series 2-3, right? So they have never beat TES in 4 series versus them over the past year. And that's JDG with the exact same lineup, except for the first series, they had a different top laner. Think about that for a second. You're telling me the team with a massive early game edge, with Jackie Love, with Knight, with Karsa, with 369, the team that has the history of beating JDG basically every single time. And what happened? JDG is the exact same. And if anything, they're looking the worst that we've ever seen them coming into this matchup. Jackie Love, TES on the other hand, finally starting to get those feet underneath them. This is the same exact 4-man that we love and that we've seen win the LPL now back-to-back. And they swap support for Zuho, who's finally looking pretty solid. Look at that. 1, 2, and 27 versus LGD. LGD sucks. But the fact that he only died 2 times here and 3 times here, compared to 17 times over these 2 losses, he's getting the engages more. He's more understanding. The way I put it in my article is basically he needed some stage time with the other guys in a professional setting with the nerves on the line to get everything going, right? So people think that this is going to be a close one. But me personally, I think TS just comes out here, stomps them 2-0. I think TS really shows us that JDG is struggling this split and potentially needs to make a change with either Loken, Mystic coming in for Loken, or maybe we throw ZA back in the mid lane and see what he can do. Because I'm not loving this JDG squad right now. Yeah, so my final picks: T1, 2-1 over Afrika, KT Rolster 2-0 over Nongshim, Rare Atom 2-0 over Rogue Warriors, and TES 2-0 over JDG. Now, if you want my full DFS breakdown and top plays on all these matches, I post those on Patreon, patreon.com/DFS Hitman. I'll be posting a link in the description. And give me a subscription if you can. And thanks for listening. Good luck, everybody.